Yeah.
So then I discovered Facebook groups, and I joined. I'm not kidding you, more than 100 groups of all different, species and all of that, so that I could learn as much as I could. And
Yeah.
the more I would learn about one species, there was another five. So then I would try to learn about others, and that's basically how I started getting more involved into the idea of just keeping uncommon or rare reptiles, which is
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Gecko Cove Connection. My name is Bobby, and today I am bringing on a special guest, Juan. You may know him as JP from JP Lizards. Awesome YouTube channel. I was watching it before I even got my very first gargoyle gecko. I actually was watching your channel when I was interested in, I think I discovered you through collared lizards, because you have collared lizards, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, dude, love those videos. You totally got me hooked on collared lizards,
Nah.
and I probably, I kind of miss having them right now, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, thank you for the
Yeah,
invitation.
dude, it's kind of fun. I see you at every Tinley. I see you at Schaumburg. I see you. I just went to the
Now,
show up in
Sewerfest.
Wisconsin. Yeah, Sewerfest. That was the first time, and it's always fun chatting with you, dude. So I'm glad that we get to do it recorded here on YouTube, and we to share our experiences together, kind of just chatting about different lizards, with the rest of YouTube. So, but let's start off from what got you into reptile keeping. Let's get your backstory, and then what kind of led you into the YouTube world of sharing your experience.
All right, man, it's definitely a long story, but I was born and raised in Mexico, so there was really no such thing as keeping reptiles for anybody. I'm sorry, this guy just jumped on me.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Nice
Yeah,
lychee, just random lychee hanging around.
but yeah. So when I was a kid, there was no such thing as keeping animals other than farm animals, and I was always interested in just wildlife. Everyone, like all mammals, reptiles, birds, especially birds of prey. I was always into just wild animals, all of them. And obviously, like many others, I was also very interested in dinosaurs. So obviously, once I started looking at more reptiles, especially lizards, they definitely look a lot like the dinosaurs that we would see in the
Absolutely.
movies or maybe books, something like that. So obviously, that had a lot to do with it. And once I came here to the U.S., I was actually so naive to the whole world of keeping reptiles that when somebody told me, there's actually a store where you can go and see them, and this was, I believe it was PetSmart.
Oh,
I
nice.
went in there and I was like I had no idea.
It's like a candy store.
I was maybe 14, 15 years old, and I was telling my parents, I want to save up money. I want to buy a lizard and all of this stuff. They're like, once you're 18, you can do whatever you want. All right, okay, you said it. As soon as I hit 18, I got my first tattoo, and then I got a whole bunch of lizards. I had I went right away into leopard geckos, bearded dragon. Then I discovered this other store, which now I know that it was terrible, but they did have a lot of different animals,
Hmm.
especially other lizards that you rarely know. And I actually got a Euromastix from there,
Oh,
and I got
cool.
what's called a horn lizard. I don't know if you
Oh
know which
yeah,
ones are those. Yeah,
yeah.
dude. They told
Those are
me,
rare.
they told me how to take care of them, and everything was so bad that every single lizard that I had, I lost it within
Oh yeah.
2 years. This guy's going back,
He's
but
going down your back. You
yeah,
need to grab him real quick.
nah, he's right here.
There you go.
All right, let me just put him
That's
in
what
the
I love
setup.
about new cow species. They are pretty chill. They're not bearded dragons, but they'll hang out for a little bit. They're more like cats, in my opinion. Bearded dragon's like a dog. A dog will sit there and watch TV with you, right?
Yeah.
New cow species, they're a lot like cats. They're low maintenance. They'll come hang out with you for a little bit, and then they'll let you know when they're done, right? They'll either,
Exactly. They will simply jump, and that's it. That's your
nope,
cue
peace
that
out.
they no longer want to be with you.
Yeah. And if you don't respect it, they'll either poop on you or bite you.
Hey, that is true. That is true. And you do not want a Leachianus gecko to poop on you.
No, or bite you. Either one.
Or bite you. Yeah. Hopefully that never happens. Either of them.
No.
But so as I was saying, I had to learn the hard way of seeing all of my animals basically just dying, and this was at the very beginning of Facebook groups. So the only person that I had to to go seek advice was the owner from the store. And obviously now I know that every single little thing, detail, everything, it was all wrong. Very bad information. So then,
if you remember anything, what was the worst piece of advice they gave you?
Oh man! So the very first thing was that every single animal was kept in a fish tank. Every animal, and it was always a little either 10 or 20 gallon, because everything else was too big.
Yep.
That I might actually do a video on this store. I might go in there and take pictures. Maybe I cannot
still
say
around.
It's still around. Yeah, maybe I cannot say the name for legal purposes.
I was gonna say, be careful there.
But yeah, man, there was I actually have a picture of a frog that I got from there, and every single substrate that they would tell me to grab was like cotton for any animal, even bearded dragons, which I thought it was so weird. But when you don't know, you don't know.
No, and you trust the people that you deem as an authority, right?
Yeah.
And if this is a reptile specialty store, you think they're the experts in it, and there are a lot of great stores that you and I both know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Curious Creatures comes to mind, Birds and Beasts, Dad's Cichlids, Animal House Reptiles, a bunch of others.
Sure.
I'm going to miss a few. I mean, just some amazing stores with great information, and those are the ones you want to seek out. But yeah, you can run into some really bad, shady places too. So that's a shame.
That's definitely the worst one that I've ever seen, and unfortunately, it's the one that that I had my first years of experience with.
Yeah.
So yeah, after dealing with all of that, I decided to stop keeping reptiles because I didn't want to just have animals just for them to die. Yeah. So then I discovered Facebook groups, and I joined. I'm not kidding you, more than 100 groups of all different species and all of that, so that I could learn as much as I could. And the more I would learn about one species, there was another 5. So then I would try to learn about others, and that's basically how I started getting more involved into the idea of just keeping uncommon or rare reptiles, which is, in my opinion, for me, it's what I love. The less awesome I know of it, or the less other people have it, the more I want it.
Just scarcity, psychologically speaking, right? It drives up the perceived value of the animal, right? And I swear, like, the things that are popular right now, if they were brand new, if you look back in history, right? Like the first time you've ever seen, a albino morph leopard gecko, right? Yeah. There's 1,000 of them now, but back then, the perceived value, I mean, those things went for tens of thousands of dollars, right? And that was a rare gecko.
That's whenever I tell somebody that I only keep rare and uncommon reptiles, and then I tell them that I have leopard geckos, they're like, that is not rare at all. Well, have you seen the morph that I work with? That is rare.
You go. That's the difference. That's the difference. I love it. You got to stay true to what you're telling people. I appreciate the honesty.
Oh, there definitely. That's not something that I don't want to ever lie to anybody or say I have the best of this and blah blah blah. That's just not me. But
No,
yeah,
no, you're
I mean, to continue with now, I guess second part, when it comes to what YouTube, right? You said?
yeah, yeah. So what got you into YouTube? Why start anything? Why post stuff?
Yeah,
And it takes a lot of work. So why
it does
what
take a
got
lot
you
of
into it?
work.
Yeah, it does.
So I actually I didn't really want to do YouTube
Okay.
when I started. For the main reason was because I was, my English was still a little bit bad. That was, to be honest, that was the number one reason as to why. I already knew about Dave Kaufman, and his
Yeah.
videos was the one that inspired me into maybe going out to stores, even if it wasn't for recording, was to look at, because I was like, it's so true. I only go to only Petco, PetSmart, and this other really crappy store. So I should look around maybe within a couple of hours, and maybe to other zoos, other stores, you know. So then I started thinking, I really love taking pictures and just clips, just for basically just for me, just to show other people. And so then I started getting the idea, maybe I should give YouTube a try.
Yeah.
And once I started, I didn't stop.
No, that's awesome. And just like you said, kind of documenting how many times have you walked into a store, right? A reptile store, fish store, whatever it may be, and you're looking around, you're just mesmerized by certain things, and then you're like, oh, that looks awesome. And if you record it or take a video, it's like that you have that memory, because there's so many times I'm like, oh, what was that species? Oh, was it that cool?
Yeah.
Was it that nice? Am I making that up in my head? To kind of look back on is pretty cool.
For me, especially for reptile shows, those
Yeah.
are the ones that I started a little bit more getting more focused on, because I
Yeah.
would notice that every single YouTube video that I would see about a show was of the YouTuber recording themselves talking, recording a few animals, not even focusing on one, maybe one
Yep.
or two, and then that's it. And I'm like, I kind of want to see more of the animals more than you, not to
Exactly.
sound
We're
like
here for
that,
the
but
animals.
that's what I wanted to see. So that's why I also started recording the shows that I go to, and I am so lucky that I live only 30 minutes away from Tinley and
Hmm.
45 minutes away from Schaumburg.
You're closer to Tinley than I am, so yeah, that's pretty awesome, man.
It's awesome.
And I think I've gotten that feedback too. Right now, you've done way more walkthroughs, and I watch your walkthroughs. I think they're great
Thank
because
you.
you do highlight some of the more unique specimens that maybe get overlooked. You kind of go into nice information and detail. You're not just like showing an animal. You talk through your videos. You
Yeah,
explain what people are looking at. And I really do appreciate just the thought that goes into it. And what impresses me is you're talking live while you're looking at these things, and you're
yeah.
doing a great job. Where
Thank you.
like my walkthroughs, I've only done a few, and I only focus in on geckos. That's my own little thing where I see a lot of videos out there on walkthroughs, and like you said, it's either personalities with their friends,
Yeah,
or it's all about their experience at the show. Where yours is more about the animal, and I also wanted to do something similar, but I just wanted to focus on geckos, right?
hey, that's cool. I think
Specifically
that's a really cool
newcals.
idea.
Yeah,
With
so some people
with
like it, some people don't, but there's your videos if they want more. But I voice over mine a lot because I it's easier just not to deal with copyright, as far as the music playing in the background, and
yeah, that's
B, I can't, I could think of things to say right then and there, but the vendors are talking to me, other people are talking around me. I give you credit with in the moment narrating because that's a lot harder than people understand. So
yeah.
kudos to you.
To be honest, it did take me a few years to get more used to it, because
Hmm.
for anybody that wants to go to my channel, please do not watch the first videos. They are terrible, terrible. And to be honest, the only reason as to why I leave them is because it took so much work that I just don't want to delete them, and that's it. But they are terrible. I'm not gonna lie. And then
But it just shows that you care enough to grow.
what's up?
It shows that you care enough to grow
Yeah. Oh yeah.
in your hobby and in your passion, which is, I mean, my first ones were god awful too. I think that's everybody who's on YouTube.
Yeah, probably, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't talk in what was it? Maybe my first two videos doing a
Hmm.
show, I didn't talk at all because I felt so weird in a show talking to a camera, and
Right.
then I would look up and I have like four people looking at me, like listening to what I'm saying, and I'm like,
Yep.
okay, time for me to go.
Love it. Yeah, it's a little more normal now, the more people doing it, but
Yeah,
yeah, it takes some guts. It takes some, a lot of people watch these things and they go, "Oh, I could do that better," or "Oh, I could do that," or you can, but not many people do it, and it takes guts to get up there and put yourself out there. So, but it's fun, It is fun to go
it's
look
fun.
back even at your own work and say, you know, I mean, I've gone back and watched my own videos. You've probably done the same thing. It's like, what was Schaumburg like last year versus this year, right? And what animals were there versus this year, And so it's
That's
kind
what
of a
I
nice
do.
documentation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely what I do. I don't really watch my videos. Number one reason is because I hate listening to my own voice. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure that
you're
that's
too
pretty
critical
much
of
everyone.
yourself.
I'm pretty sure that's everyone. I hate listening to my voice, but so I just skip my part, and then I start looking at the animals.
Yep.
Especially if I remember, maybe this animal was between in the middle, like I just focus in the middle, or maybe just that. But I kind of don't really watch my videos completely.
You don't put yourself up on the big screen in your living room with
No,
popcorn and get the whole family there.
no way. Especially when I think I had maybe 2 years that I was recording
Yeah.
in a family party. They decided to put my videos.
Yeah.
That was not fun,
You
man. That
turned
was
so red, didn't you?
that was not fun. And then if if you know Hispanics, we make fun of each other so
Yeah.
much that if you're not used to it, they will make you cry.
Get ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not Hispanic, but I will say this: I'm half Italian. I don't look it. They're just as bad. They are just as bad.
I've heard.
So yeah, exactly.
Um,
So yeah, but no, it's a cool thing that you're doing. But today I kind of want to branch out from that because guys, go check out Juan's YouTube channel again, and I'll plug it a few times during this. It's not just walkthroughs. We've talked about that, but what you also do is you highlight those unique animals that you have. You show the care needed, that what you're doing. You're always upgrading things. I think did you just redo your reptile room? Is that where we're in right now?
yeah. So this happened last year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it was like at the very end of the year. It
Yep.
happened. So when I was looking into buying a house, this was 7 years ago. I knew that that I eventually wanted to get into like a really big size of animals. Not
Yep.
necessarily a lot of animals, but like you said, big setups. I do not believe in little setups for everyone. Little tubs or all of that. If mine are
Yep.
full grown, then I want them in a nice big setup. So I kind of wanted to focus on having a basement that was maybe have a reptile zoo. That's
Yeah.
that's what I was calling it. So obviously everything is about money. The house that I got, it had a little room already made. So that's what I made my that's what I turned into my reptile room.
Yep.
And then in the back of the basement, that's when I saw, I have a lot more space over there. It's a little bit cooler, which is actually better for me, especially here.
Yep.
So it was just a matter of running everything, man. I mean, I didn't have electricity, no heat, no walls, so
Yep.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with,
That's how my basement is right now. It is completely unfinished.
yeah,
There's one wall dividing the room with all the furnace and air conditioning, all that good stuff. But yeah, it's one of those things. I'm upstairs in a small little nook right? And so I got to stay somewhat small just because of the, and my house isn't the tiniest thing in the world, but, I'm not going to take over one of my kids' bedrooms for this. So,
I
but
might
yeah, I
do
mean,
it.
yeah, maybe when they move out, but they're
Yeah,
young now. Um, but I really do respect that, obviously right behind me, this is the first episode that we're recording where I've got my new enclosures from
yeah, from Dubia.
Dubia.com and
They
not
look good.
sponsored, by the way. If they want to sponsor me, come find me. But I love these huge enclosures. They're all 18, 18, 24 stacked up, three high, and just trying to deck them out. And when I saw you last, we had talked about, where to go buy some branches, because I had to fill all these things, right?
Yeah,
So, giving your animals a lot of space is awesome, but it costs money just to furnish them, right? It's like
it
buying a
does.
big house. Well, do you have a couch yet? Right? So, how many tanks do you have in your new room? If you could guesstimate right now, like how many different
Oh, man.
animals enclosures?
Animals in total is about 23, 24.
Awesome.
And I have maybe 15 setups. Because
Awesome.
it's not all tanks. Yeah, I do have
Got them all in
three
10-gallon
enclosures.
fish tanks, right?
No fish tanks at all.
No, I'm kidding.
No fish tanks at all. No, sorry. Well, actually, that's a lie. I do have one fish tank, but I have
Yeah.
dubia in there.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's a fancy dubia tank. Usually we keep them
Hey,
in Tupperware.
my
Yeah.
wife told me if I see one roach, you and the roach are out. So,
Seriously, I had the same conversation back when and that's actually why I got rid of the collared lizards. Really quick tangent. So I had a huge 5 foot long enclosure, 5 foot by like 2 foot by 3 foot tall enclosure. Did a whole huge background that I kind of watched Serpent Designs and did the whole thing. It was gorgeous. And gorgeous lizards. They were awesome. But I was feeding them dubia, and my wife said, if I see dubia out, that's it. We're
yeah.
done. We're not doing roaches. And we actually had to get our basement like kind of sealed from the or from the inside.
Hmm.
And they had to move a bunch of stuff in the basement. And I knew some of them got out in the basement, but they weren't going to make it upstairs,
Yeah.
right? There's these huge, guys moving stuff around. And my wife said, I've never seen a giant man scream so loud. He found a big female just chilling under something. And he's
Wow.
like, you have a roach infestation. She's like, no. It's the biggest damn roach.
They should see the ones from Mexico. And they're like 3 times around the size of a Madagascar kissing roach.
Oh, yeah?
But those fly. And they fly towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we don't breed those.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully not.
No. Well,
You guys put
for
those
me,
in your
what
rodeo down there, right?
what's up?
The giant roach. You guys use them in your rodeos down there, the giant roaches?
If they don't have any bulls, then that's what they use.
Yeah, they're just as vicious. So
Yeah,
they
but,
can fly.
for me for dubia roaches, what I do is that when it comes to the roaches, I always tongue feed, and I make
Yeah.
sure that they, even if they don't eat it, at least that they squeeze it enough that it's it's no longer alive.
It's dead. Yeah.
And the way that I keep them is that's actually why I keep them in a tank, because they do not climb glass. They cannot.
Yep.
And since they don't fly, they're not gonna come out.
Smart. Yeah. I mean, if I've put, and that's always how the roaches got out, is I would put them in one of those feeder bowls, right? And I don't care what feeder bowl it is,
Then
they can get
yeah.
out.
Yeah, if it's a little plastic, it doesn't matter what kind of plastic it is, they will climb it. But if it's glass, they will not climb it.
Yeah. That's good. We got to invent a glass feeder bowl then, right?
Well, I mean, a cup.
Well, we don't want to be too cheap, right? We got to make sure it can sell. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
It's a specialized cup, specialized, right?
Specifically for reptiles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's 3 times as expensive, and you only get it used for 6 months, and then you have to replace it.
Yeah, there you go. good for the market.
Exactly. Oh man. All right. So what are you feeding these roaches off to? Let's talk about some of the species. Should I pull up some pictures?
Sure.
All right, let's go through. So you went and sent me some photos a little bit earlier of your animals. So let me share my screen real quick. And we'll start off with the rarest animal in your collection,
Leopard
the
gecko.
leopard gecko.
Yeah.
But this isn't just a regular leopard gecko. It's not like a Murphy's patternless.
Nope.
What are we looking at here?
So that is actually a pied galaxy leopard gecko.
A pied galaxy.
Pied galaxy.
Okay.
Well, if if it's easier for people to understand it, everyone knows the super snow eclipse.
Yes.
So once it has that pied, so that you wouldn't call it pied super snow eclipse, you just call it pied galaxy.
Cool. So
So
this is a
you know-
baby version, and if you
Yep.
know leopard geckos, they go through a huge color change. Is it the same with this? I think it's in the next photo, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This guy's changed a lot.
Oh, that's
So
my gecko. There we go.
that's how much
Yeah,
they
that's
change.
gorgeous.
Yeah, so that right there, that's popping. That's my holdback from last year, my very first clutch of this guy's. Well, not first clutch, but first clutches from the year.
So for when I'm looking at this, right, it's gorgeous, and the pied looks. Usually when I think of pied, I think of like random, kind of like discoloration or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
This to me reminds me of a Chihuahua with a white collar, right? Like it's got that thick neck band. It is so cool.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
You're
that is
like,
true.
have you thought about that before?
To be honest, no,
Yeah.
no, because I kind of I look at my at this guy's this is my project of leopard geckos. I keep seeing them and I keep trying to think how are they going to look in the future. Especially once I breed them, with a very specific morph, how are those babies going to look? That my mind always goes to that. Not necessarily, this kind of looks like some other animal.
Yeah, I mean it's gorgeous. It's got all the spots on there. It's kind of like to me, it kind of looks like a snow leopard, right?
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite animals. So this is not your run of the mill average leopard gecko. This is a high end designer, beautiful thing that you've created. You said you've got to plan a little bit about where you want to go with this. What's the next thing you want to add into this to make this even more insane?
So I have two plans for this guys, specifically for this male. So and you will actually be the first one to hear it, aside from from
We got an
the person
exclusive here,
that
everybody.
I'm talking to. But my personal project will be to actually find a female that is an extreme pied. So what an extreme pied means is that that pattern in the back and tail, it will be broken into pieces. It's not going to be full. So
I like it.
what I'm hoping is that the babies, they will all be extreme pied.
That's
One thing. Yeah, that's going to be my personal project. And I am kind of talking to somebody that will maybe let me borrow a black knight female.
That's where I was wondering if you were going.
Yeah. So
could you imagine a dark base on this?
So there is actually a morph that is called panda, like the animal, and
Yeah.
they are completely black from the body and almost all the head, but the legs they're white, and the faces are kind of white, and those look really cool. To be honest, they have become my favorite. So obviously you gotta get into genetics, which I do not want to do. But hopefully this way also works to get into pandas or something very similar.
So I know that and I know genetics is a little bit, fun, but just going with the generic stuff. So is the pied recessive or is it a codominant trait?
It is recessive. Not all the babies come out pied. Yeah, especially
so the super pied, is that just line bred then, or is that a different trait?
So super bite would that would be, man, I don't even know what would you call that, because
Yeah, I have no idea
I
either.
guess I haven't done it. I haven't
No,
done
no,
it,
that's
so to be
fair.
honest, I haven't really get into that.
Yeah, no, because once you get into like, once you start stacking recessives on top of each other and, you throw in a codom and it's like,
You
I got to give it to people who deal with these animals and the ball python people, you know, the odds of hitting exactly what you want,
yeah,
not very high sometimes.
for me, then this is why for me visual is what I try to focus on, because
Yeah.
all of this, it's 20% this, it's 15% that. uh, it's too much for my brain. I'm
Yeah,
not
no.
that good when it comes to all of that.
No, that's fair. And even with my gargoyle geckos, there's a lot of people who buy animals because of certain lines or certain genetics, and I think that's a great way of going about it. I just personally only can keep so many animals,
Yeah,
and I want to have visuals too. So I'm with you. I want
yeah,
to open up my
that's
drawers and see pretty things.
exactly.
So very cool. Okay, let's go on to the next species because you got quite a few here, and I don't want to miss anything. So going back this way. So this, I believe, is a gecko. What species are we looking at here?
Yep. So that is a riverine leaf-tailed gecko. That is
Those are
definitely
from Australia, right? Or are
yep.
those Madagascar?
Yeah, from Australia.
Okay, that's what I was right.
Yeah, very cool guys. Though I love that species. Yeah.
So I clearly you're breeding them if you've got two eggs sitting there in the picture.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
they
Well,
easy
I
to breed?
so so when I actually started, when I decided that I was getting into breeding, I wanted to have something that was cheaper, not necessarily cheap, but
Sure.
cheaper, and something that was even more on the high end. And I am fascinated by all leaf-tailed geckos. But obviously, everyone always goes for the satanic leaf-tailed gecko.
Yeah.
There are also a few, but if you remember, most of them, they are very gentle animals. It's not something that you can grab. You just have to look at them, and that's pretty much it. But
Yeah,
with
mostly display creatures.
these guys, they are not that shy. Obviously, they do not want to be handled. But if you do grab them, it's not like, they're not gonna die from
Yeah.
you grabbing them, which is
They
what
deal
I,
with the stress a little bit better.
yeah. Yeah, and that is definitely one of the reasons as to why I decided to go with this species. They are also not man. How do you say? I forgot the word.
That's okay.
Um,
I do that
hold
all
on,
the time.
let me try. Let me try to remember it. Um, well, I forgot about it. I forgot
That's
the
okay.
word. But the if you mess up with the humidity, is
Hmm.
not going to is it's also not going to kill them, which is something
Okay.
that will most likely happen with a satanic lift-tail gecko. You cannot mess with humidity or too much heat. These
Yep.
guys, they are
They're hardier.
more hardy. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
That's the
There you
word.
go.
They are more hardy.
Yeah, they're not as fragile. I mean, that's the cool thing about even at Schaumburg. You know, we were looking. A lot of people came by to the table with me and Nelson, and he had the spear point leaf tail geckos
Yeah,
that are just so cool, and they look
there's
almost identical to the satanics, but they don't have the big
yep,
tail. They got the little tiny spear point, and some people are like, "But do you have satanics?" Right? Because those are the popular ones. Those are the ones
yeah,
everybody wants, and we're like, "No." But these are easier to keep. These are easier to breed. They're just as cool. They can have some really cool colors. So nothing against satanics. I think I would like some eventually. But the spear points and some of these Australian species, they can be a better option for the everyday keeper.
yeah, definitely. And they are also a little bit more cheaper, or I guess less expensive.
Well, yeah, less demand, less money,
Yeah,
but that may change one day. All of a sudden, enough people hear about them, and you're raking in the big bucks, my friend. You're a pioneer.
Well, to be honest, that's also one thing that one of the reasons as to why I want to breed rare animals is because I want more people like me to be able to have them. I'm gonna be honest, it's not easy for me to save a lot of money to be spending thousands of dollars for for a single animal.
Right.
So if I'm able to to work with somebody that is also in the same situation, and they're like, I love your animal, but I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be way too expensive. Well, not necessarily. I guarantee you that I'm always gonna give you the best price that you will ever see on any of my animals.
That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes just giving back.
Yeah,
Everybody focuses on kids and stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Getting the next generation in, but there's some people in their 20s, 30s,
sure.
40s,
Yeah,
just getting into it in their 50s, where
yeah,
all it takes is one person being kind, cutting doing something special, and getting them into the hobby and showing them how awesome it is. So that's awesome, and especially something unique. And if you're willing to teach them and show them like you do on your
oh,
YouTube channel, like you do in person,
yeah.
that's what it's all about, right? You're not just going to throw them an animal and say, hey, put it in a 10-gallon tank.
In a fish tank with
In a
cotton.
fish tank. So, and I think, one thing I've noticed is that you definitely have, worked with other people who I would consider like-minded. The biggest person that comes to mind is Wally, right? From
Yeah,
Supreme Geckos. Every time I see you guys are always together. And I think that it's a great friendship because you guys share a love for those more rare species. I
yeah,
think he just posted today, as we're recording this, a video basically pleading with people to keep a certain, I forget the name of the gecko species. I'll post a picture and, and the name right here. But they're little smaller, geckos. And it's just cool, kind of showing people new things. I like that.
yeah. I did get the notification, but I was not able to watch the video right away. So, but I will watch it
Well,
for
Wally's
sure.
going to be mad. Wally's going to be
Yeah,
mad. You got
yeah.
to watch it instantly. Give him that thumbs up, that like.
I am actually one of the people that I usually try to go for that first comment,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
and he definitely knows it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think I've seen you get it a few times, so
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've never been that good. Love it. All right, let's look at another creature real quick. And this is the same animal, correct?
Yeah. So that is a baby from last year. That is
Okay.
my fallback. It's looking like it's gonna be a male. So
Are
yeah,
they
that is
sexually dimorphic, or is it just hemipenes develop, or
no,
how do you sex them?
just hemipenes.
Okay.
With my adults, what I did notice is that the female tends to be more chunky.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's
Makes sense.
because she's maybe eating more, but ever since I got them, and to this day, it doesn't matter how much I try to feed both, not eat.
Yep.
How much I try to feed both, they still, the male always stays skinny.
Okay. I wish that was the case with humans. I'd lose a few pounds. But yeah, I love the color of the eyes too. Some gecko species have that where it's kind of like that blue look right through the skin. That's gorgeous. And they fire up and fire down like a bunch of other geckos, correct?
A little bit, not a
A
lot.
little bit.
I mean, they just get that like that gray. It's just
Yep.
more bright.
Right. Very cool. No, very unique. I love the huge thick tail. Now, can they
Yeah.
regenerate that if they drop it, or do they not drop it?
Mhm.
You're like, I don't want to
No,
test it out.
I don't think they drop it. No, I mean, I have never even tried to grab it from the tail,
Okay.
so I would definitely suggest not to do that. But
Correct.
my guess is, since it's a gecko, they do drop it.
Yeah, that'd be my guess too. Yeah, smart, educated guess. Um, Here's a species I know and love. This is the Urodactyloides, one of the
Yep.
most underrated nucal species. I got
Oh,
one back here. Um, is that got a cricket in its mouth right now?
yeah,
That's awesome.
I love that guy. Yeah, that's Don Julio.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of like Don Julio in
Yeah.
If eventually if I do get a female, that's gonna be Margarita.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah,
Go to
but
Margaritaville.
that species blew my mind. It's so weird because ever since I what is it? I learned about the New Caledonia species.
Yep.
Everyone was always about crested geckos, gargoyle geckos, and obviously Leachianus geckos and chapos, of
Yep.
course. But I never heard anything about this species, the chameleon gecko, after
Yep.
maybe a year. And I looked at it and I'm like, it's so tiny. I don't know. Like I want the biggest gecko in the world. That's what
Right.
everyone thinks about. But maybe not everyone, but I did.
Guys
So
do.
once I had my Leachianus gecko,
Yeah.
I actually won a crested gecko on a giveaway,
Hmm.
and then I had
Nice.
it, and I'm like, they're fun and cool and everything, but okay,
Dopey.
maybe it's time to look into one of these little guys. I was actually doing that 12
12
by
days.
18,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
and then I was kind of thinking, what should I put in there? I try to do my setups in a way that will work for several species,
Hmm.
and this guys I found it to be perfect. I'm like, yeah, it's little, um, so I think it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
And man, he blew my mind.
They're
I,
out
I
all the
could I
time.
could not I could not believe that a gecko of this size would actually go up to you.
Yeah.
That is crazy. So I
To me, they're mini
100%
chewies.
recommend
Everybody I
it.
talk to loves chewies, right? They're
Yeah,
the big personality new cow, right? They're the ones that are gonna, be the most interactive and whatever. If you're looking for something that seems, more intelligent, chewies typically are the answer. But I will say these are mini chewies, right? They're just the
yeah,
hot dog version of it, right? They get the little sausage, body and then the little
yeah,
tiny legs, and they're really cool because they're meant to go on twigs, right? That's where they kind of stay in their environment. And if they want to get away from you, they just go circle around the twig branch, right?
yeah.
And to me, they use their camouflage as their defense, which your finger, they just move slow and they think we're T-Rexes, right? From Jurassic Park, where it's like, if I don't move, the big thing can't see me. It's like, I see you.
Yeah,
um, which subspecies do you have? Do you have Agricolae,
yeah.
Velarde?
Agree, Colin.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. I butcher all these things, but that's what I call them, Agricolae. Yeah, and they're the biggest subspecies, which is kind of
Yeah,
cool. So
yeah.
they
They're
were my
really,
first
really
pair
cool
that I got.
species. Really cool species.
So cool. Easy to breed. Obviously, you just got the one male, correct?
Yeah, for now.
For now. Yeah, exactly. For now is the right answer. I have a lone female, but I have an ostentalis. Otherwise, I'd say let's get them together.
Ah, man,
Um,
yeah,
Yeah, it's okay. We don't want to mix up the different lines. So I don't think anybody in the uh, Urdactyloides world does that. I think everybody's pretty much a purist.
I mean, I guess there's just no point since it's easy to get them and they're easy
Right,
to breed.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
I guess that's why.
No. Yeah, and the ones that aren't easy to breed are, if you're not going to mix a Symmetricus because they cost way too much money.
That's true.
So, but yeah, I mean, they're easy to handle, great species. I've never been sprayed by their tail, which is a really cool feature of them, right?
Straight
You,
by the tail. No.
oh, dude, you don't know that? If you piss off your gecko, they don't drop their tail. They'll spray you with a sticky goo.
What? No, I
Yeah,
actually didn't know that.
there you go. Yeah, there's a fun fact for you. Yeah, they spray a stinky, sticky goo out of their tail, kind of like the Stropharis.
That's
You ever see
that's the one
those?
that I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same thing.
Wow. No,
Um,
I didn't know that.
so it's typically babies that I've heard, tend to do that, or if they can drop segments of their tail, right? They'll do segments if you like catch it in the crease of a bin or something like that. But they're less prone to drop their tail. Really cool little species. Do you have any other favorite things about them?
Uh, no, that's probably definitely my number one thing. Just that they are not shy animals. That's definitely the big thing about them. Because I mean, they are tiny. You know, if I put my finger, it's this size.
Exactly. And
It's
the
a tiny
males
lizard
especially.
that will go up to you. That's crazy. That's
Yep.
even my Leachianus gecko, which is gigantic this size. You know, he will run away from me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And actually, one more thing that I love about them is
Yeah.
that their feeding response is actually really
Yeah.
strong. And when they grab an animal, they an insect, they just start shaking it so hard.
Yes.
That is hilarious. I need to
It
get that on
is.
camera one day.
Yeah, and kind of like the picture we have here where it grabs that cricket. I mean, I guarantee the next moment it was like whacking back and forth,
Yeah,
kind of like a monitor does, right?
yeah, kind of. Yeah, but
Yeah.
so fast and so many times. It's not just a couple of times, you know.
No,
It's so many times.
you better be dead. I love it. Very cool. All right, let's see what else we got here. Here, this looks like a Urdactyloides, but I know it's not. This is a baby, isn't it?
Yeah, so that is my Leachianus gecko when I got him. That was actually the very first picture. That
Beautiful.
was 2 years ago,
And,
2 3
and
years
is
ago.
that's the gecko that was walking around on your shoulder a little earlier, correct?
That's the one.
That's awesome. Do you have a picture as an adult? No. Um, we'll get to
Look at
that
this.
gecko in a second. But here, yeah, there you go.
So that
So
is
how
him.
old is the gecko now?
So this guy should be 3 years old.
Okay,
Yeah, at least
nice.
3 years old. But look at that.
Beautiful barring. What
Uh,
locale is he?
So this is a GTX, so it's mixed.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
this
but it's
is
got that GT mixed in there, so size, you know.
yeah,
Have you weighed
it's a
him
big
recently?
gecko. What's up?
Have you weighed him recently?
No, I don't plan on breeding him, so I've never actually wetted him. Yeah, I
Okay.
just I look at this.
Very cool. Yeah, it's size of your forearm, guys.
Yeah, almost. If
That
that
is
tail
awesome.
was a little bit bigger, it would.
And they're vocal.
Yeah, this guy is not a big fan of being touched, so he definitely lets me know when it's time
Yep.
to let him go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm a big baby. I don't want to. I had a few baby leechies. I sold them, right? Because they actually hold their value pretty well, especially as
Yeah.
they age. And I always wanted to upgrade my Gargs, and they were more important to me. And so I'd be like, I really want a big, I'd go to a show, I'd see Ariel from Aerotronics.
Yeah.
He'd hand me his giant leechie he always has.
It's
And
so
the thing
big.
is just amazing. It's gorgeous. My kid loves it, and he keeps begging me for a leechie. So I'd buy a baby. And then once they start like hissing at me and start gaping at me, I'm like, no, I know that you go through an adolescent phase, but all right, let's trade you in for some money and I'll buy a Garg.
Well,
But one day I'll have one.
I was lucky that this guy he's definitely not not aggressive at all.
That's
He
awesome.
he does not want to be touched because once I have him in my hand, it's not really a big problem. But
Yep.
if I want to pick him up, he definitely lets me know. And he's more
Yeah.
of a crier.
He's just a big whiner. I'll take a
Yeah,
whiner over a
he
fighter.
wants to complain.
So, have you ever been bit by any of your animals?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So,
Color
I
lizards.
actually collared lizards. I've never been bit by my collared lizards, but I didn't have them for more than a year.
Man,
And they've got a bite.
they they don't look too robust because they are really long because of that tail.
Mhm.
But that force, that pressure in the bite is, I don't know if you know this, but in the wild, males, especially males, full grown males,
Yep.
they actually eat a lot of lizards.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
what they do is that,
they're the T-Rexes of the desert, dude. They'll
yeah,
run on two legs.
yeah. So those guys, they have a bite strong enough that they will crush the skull of the lizard and then
That's
eat them
awesome.
right away.
I mean, you look at them, they look like pit bulls. I mean, they've got just jowls, and you can
Yeah.
see the muscles from the back of the head. I mean, if you look at an animal and they've got that giant kind of bulge towards the back of their skull, that's just pure muscle, for the most part.
If I remember correctly, I think I sent you a picture of actually my one of my color lizards
Oh,
biting
you
me.
did.
Yeah,
Oh, buddy, let's look at it. All right, let's skip through and I'll come back.
yeah. I don't know
So a
which
little
one you got.
preview, everybody. So this one's not biting you. That's a beautiful female.
Yeah, that's my.
Oh, yeah,
There you
there you
go.
go. Yeah, so you can see right there, you can see that hump in the back of their skull there. That's muscle leading all the way to their jaw. And those teeth, they're definitely little jagged things. They're meant to be carnivores.
They're sharp. This guy did not want to let me go at all. At all.
Yeah.
That's why actually, that's the reason as to why I'm holding a glove. Because males, they are very territorial. So, if you do anything, it doesn't really matter, if you're cleaning, they will most likely try to bite you. I had, two males before, and two, they were biting. The other one wasn't at all.
Okay.
But
Now,
this guy,
the ones that were bitey, did you notice that they got a little bit more territorial when they were older? Was there
oh, yeah.
like a adolescent phase that they went through?
Well, it was actually right away. Like as soon as I had them, because I did not hatch them. I bought them all three
Sure.
males, and as soon as I got them, I could tell right away that they did not want to even get close to me. Like
Yeah.
I would actually open the door and they would run the other way.
Yeah.
So if I would put my hand a little bit too close, instead of running, they would bite.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I got lucky with my trio. So I got a younger trio of two females, one male.
Nice.
And I ended up actually selling them when I found out one of the females was a sleeper male. So I had two males. Yeah. But it was a huge enclosure and, again, everything went fine. But
Cool.
they were all super easy. There was one girl that was skittish and she would kind of run away a little bit, but if I caught her, she would settle down. The male was super chill, like bearded dragon chill. Would just sit on my shirt like a bearded dragon and just hold on. I'd walk around, clean, grab stuff, and then I'd grab out a roach and he'd jump down my arm and grab it. I mean, so interactive, so underrated. One of my favorite species, and like I said, led me to you, my friend, because I was watching your videos on it.
Yeah, that's how well, if you watch those videos, maybe I think the one that I was more focusing on was actually my female Astrea, and
Yeah, I remember that.
she was actually my introduction to color lizards, and man, I love that girl. She's definitely one that I will always remember.
Yeah, and you had babies, if I remember, with her, right? Before she passed.
Yeah, I did bet them one time.
Now, how many collared lizards do you currently have?
At the moment, I only have two.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
so I've been focusing more on geckos. So color
I'm
lizards
not
are
opposed
kind
to
of
that.
falling behind.
Fair enough. Are you looking to breed them or just keep those guys as fun pets?
Well, this guy that is biting me right there, I am hoping to breed him, but it is a very specific locale. So for those that don't know, when it comes to color lizards, obviously there's species and there's maybe like 4 subspecies, and some of those subspecies are no longer considered subspecies. It's just locality. So there's no such thing as morphs when it comes to color lizards. And this guy,
is he a blazing blue?
no, so this guy is a Bailey.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah, Bailey, which is, man, I should have sent you a second picture of him, actually showing the body, because this guy has, a lot of colors.
Well, you can send it. That's the beauty of not being live. Send me a photo after this. I'll post it right here.
Awesome. All right, then I should have one. I should have one.
Send it to me after we're done. Yeah, and because some of the blues. I mean, there's very few animals that have blues like collared lizards, and you know this, but the other subspecies, they come in other colors, from anywhere from like an aquamarine all the way to yellows, and just some really stunning, unique colorations. And some of them are fully blue up through the head. Some have that yellow orange head. I just, if I don't know if it's one thing I always wondered with being in Illinois. I was told when I had them that it would be illegal for me to breed them and sell them because they're technically native to Illinois down in the southernmost part of the state. And I don't know if that's true or not. So if anybody
No
knows, let me know
way.
down in the comment.
No way.
Right.
Well, I don't think so.
Again, I don't think so, but I
Yeah,
don't want to get arrested or fined,
I mean, to be honest, there's one species called the bestigum, which is
Okay.
the Baja color lizard, and it has always been illegal to breed them, and well, not necessarily to breed them, but to sell them,
Sure.
trade them, or anything like that. And it has been done for decades.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I'll figure it out when I need to figure it out, right?
Yeah,
I didn't get to that. I didn't get that far with them, but it's always still a question in my head because I might want to go back to them as another species if I kind of branch out of geckos and have more time, because they are so cool. They
they
are
are really
really
cool.
cool, and they're underrated.
Yeah, the way that I always used to tell people when I was teaching them about them is that
Yep.
they are basically like a monitor lizard. Like you think of an Aki monitor. These
Yeah.
guys are basically the same thing. They're just smaller.
Yeah. I think that they're, I definitely think they're on par with, monitor-esque behavior, but they're
Yeah.
not as intelligent.
Oh well, yeah,
To a
yeah.
degree.
When
Yeah,
it comes
I
to
mean, it's hard to
intelligence,
be.
yeah,
Those are Einsteins. But I
yeah,
think if you mix, I would say if you mix a monitor with a bearded dragon, that's what these guys are. But shrink them down so they're more, pint size, which and they can live together, right? Which
which
you
is
really
really
shouldn't
cool.
do with a bearded dragon. So the cohabiting aspect of it is really, as long as you give it enough space, because one thing I've learned watching your videos and just everybody else's and having them myself, they are active,
Oh
very active, and so you give them a 20 long, and that's not enough. They'll outgrow that in a few months. Like I said, I had them in a 5 foot enclosure, and they were using every inch of it, like up, vertical. I mean, you talk about a really cool, even just straight up display animal. If you want something to look at, kind of like a fish tank, these are it.
yeah,
So very
definitely
cool.
agree on that.
All right. Well, I'm glad we agree on everything, man. Speaking of Ackies, you got one.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the Ackie, because I've always wanted one. I just have never pulled the trigger.
Oh man. When it comes to this guy specifically,
Yeah.
you know how they say that if you want to get into monitors, always go for the Yaki because they are puppy tame and all of that and this and that. Well, the complete opposite happened to me. The complete opposite, man. This guy is by far
He
the
thinks he's a
most
croc
shy
monitor.
animal that I've ever had.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
You just hide all the time, or is he aggressive? Or
no,
both?
he's shy. Yeah, he's
Okay.
not that aggressive. He has bit me a couple of times, but it's more because of when I'm feeding him.
Hmm.
But he's shy, super shy. Oh man, there was
Okay.
the first time that I realized that how shy he was. He didn't eat for an entire week, and that scared me.
Okay.
That's long enough for a monitor that could
You're
have
worried. Yeah,
some
they're
serious
high
problems.
metabolism.
And everything was actually good. When I got him, he was still a little bit shy, but it was because I'm pretty sure that it was because he was only a month old when I got him, and I had him in a 40-gallon tank. Well, for reptiles,
Yeah.
not fish tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I saw how active these guys were, and that, he was able to climb everything that I would put in there, as soon as I was able to, I built a 4x2x2,
Nice.
and I think he was man, I want to say like 8 months old when he went in there.
Hmm.
And for one day, I saw him, go all around, climb everything. I mean, it was perfect in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's when I didn't see him for about 2 weeks. And he was eating because I would put food in the feeding dish, and then
Yeah.
it wasn't there the next day. It wasn't there the next day, but he would not let me see him. And as soon as I would actually walk in the room, not even open the door of the setup, I would walk in the room and he would run to hide.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
shy animal. I mean, you must. It's sad that you got such a cool, inquisitive animal like that, and if you get a certain personality, because they all have different personalities, right?
Yeah.
Some are bold, some are just like everything else. Um, you just got lucky and got a really shy one. You got an introvert, man.
Oh, well,
But have you tried working with the animal, kind of just like coaxing him out a little bit, or?
I might get some backlash from this, but I actually noticed that the only way that he's able uh, to be able to even see me
Yeah.
is if I take out all the heights. And I know
Oh,
how this
okay.
sounds. I actually made a video about this. So, if anybody who wants a really full explanation, they can watch that video. But to
Sure.
make it more simple, if they don't have a way to go and bury themselves in, or go all the way to the back of a hide, then
Yep.
they have to see you. And even if you're not touching them,
Yep.
you're not trying to force handle, but they are forced to see you, so they just get used to see you.
Hmm.
And I've noticed that once I started doing this, it still took months, but now he's at the point where he's not running like crazy trying to hide. He just he kind of stays and looks at what I'm gonna do, and once he see
Yep.
the food, he actually goes up to the food.
So you basically desensitized them to your presence, and then if I want to be fancy the way I'm saying it, but and then you have some positive reinforcement. I mean that's all things that are that's how you build a relationship, right? Is get them over the things that they're afraid of, show them that you're not a scary monster, you're not going to hurt them,
Yeah,
and then reward them for being calm around you.
exactly.
Yeah, we do the same thing with children. Hopefully.
I got no
um,
comment on that.
yeah. Very cool. Very cool species. Do you know if it's a red or a yellow?
As a red.
Red. Yeah, I love those. Did you get it from Curious Creatures out of curiosity?
No, I got them from a guy named Brian. Ah, man, I forget his last name, but he also owns a reptile store in Illinois. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
yeah, it was far. Duncan,
Okay. Not sure
yeah,
if I'm
something
familiar.
like that.
Nice. Yeah, the
But
reds
yeah,
are gorgeous. Allison and Andy at Curious Creatures, they breed the reds, and so many times I was like, "Can I get one?" My wife's like, "No, no monitor." She thinks their heads look like snake heads, and so
well, with this guy, yeah,
just in general, she thinks that with the monitor lizard, and she's like, "No skinks and no Ackie monitors," and I'm like, "Well, they're not snakes. That's our rule. No snakes." And she's like, "Doesn't matter. They look close enough." I'm like,
yeah. My
"All right,
wife has the same rule. But then do what I'm gonna do. Get
what's that?"
either a black throat or a white throat monitor. The
Yeah.
head does not look at all like a snake.
No, no, but I got to give it to you. If you get one of those, you have more balls than I do.
Oh, I'm going to.
Yeah, no,
I
I
don't know
believe you.
when, but I'm going to.
Yeah. Dude, I just got bit for the very first time with my gargoyles. Totally my fault. I was showing him off with some family, and he jumped on the floor, and he was a little more skittish. And I think it's because there was just a lot of commotion going on in the room.
Too many people.
He was too many people. He was
Yeah,
bolting, and I picked him up real quick. I was about to put him back in his
gotcha
enclosure,
right
spun
there.
around, got me right on the thumb. And I looked at him like, didn't hurt, but started bleeding. And I'm like, all right, you got me good. All right, nice job. Um, but I went right back in probably about 20 minutes later. and I'm like, just to desensitize them again. I'm like, all right, nobody's around anymore. I got everybody out of the room. I'm like, I don't want to be afraid to pick up this gecko because it's one of my favorite geckos. And two, I don't want the gecko to be afraid of being picked up by me. So I just kept him in the enclosure and kind of handled him for a little bit. And so we made up, and we're going to be good, no divorce. So, but yeah, the monitors, good luck.
I will
It'll be
need it.
cool. I can't wait to watch your videos on them. That'll be my favorite part.
Oh man, we'll see. We'll see once it happens.
Yeah, no, I'll watch them. Hopefully I can be the first to comment. We'll see. Awesome. Let's see what else you got here. Ooh, that's a beauty. So I've seen your videos. Tell the audience, what are we looking at here?
Oh man, so that is definitely one of the I'm gonna say rarest lizards in the U.S. This is an Australian species. This is a Boyd's forest dragon. There's actually, you know what? They are so uncommon that even people that have been in the hobby for years, they still don't know about it. Yeah, and maybe they have seen some others that they kind of look like them, but once you really see the one compared to the other one, they're nothing alike. Yeah, these guys are unique.
It's stunning, and I watched some of your videos on them. You have a female, correct?
Yeah, so that is actually my female. That's Kefla, my female.
And they're very sexually dimorphic, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is the male in the other photo? Let me pull that up real quick.
If not, I have him right here with me.
Yeah, let's see the male real quick. And I can't believe you found her at a Petco.
Man, I wish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, the video I saw of the two of them together, he's much bigger, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the males are actually close to twice the size of the females. That's crazy.
Which is the opposite of most reptiles.
Yeah, but look at this guy.
That's gorgeous. I mean, that's a dinosaur.
That is a dinosaur.
So, what does it take to keep one of these things?
Well, it's actually not a lot. Even though they are long, they're not. Their bodies are not gigantic. So I have my pair in a 36 by 18 by 36. I would prefer to have them in a 4 by 2 by 4.
Yep.
But maybe in the future.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, these guys are, I'm going to say 99% arboreal because they will spend most of their time, just hanging in a branch. It doesn't really matter how the branch is. It could be completely, what is it? Vertical?
Vertical. Yeah.
Or horizontal. It doesn't really matter. They will be in a branch.
That's so cool.
And, I mean, just
high humidity, I'm guessing.
Definitely high humidity. Yeah, these guys are, it's in the name, forest. They do live in a forest, so you definitely need a high humidity. They drink a lot of water. I've never seen any species that drinks as much water as these guys. Okay. And they will not drink from a water bowl. At least, I have never seen mine drink from a water bowl. You have to mix them directly. And they will drink water from a minute straight.
So wait, are you sitting there with a mister like right by their mouth, just like?
Yep. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just right there, bending over, with my back hurting.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What about like a drip, like with chameleons, the drip water? Would that work, or
with my female, that would not be a problem. My female, I had her since she was, I'm going to say a month or two. I believe she was like 2 months old. So I'm completely used to her care, obviously. And if she's able to see water, she will actually go to the water. But with this guy is the complete opposite. He actually had surgery. This was already a year ago. And for the looks of it, he was never the same. He's not active at all. He will stay in one place the whole day, and he will bask a little bit, but he doesn't really, and he doesn't hunt at all. I have to be feeding him.
You got to feed him.
Yeah. So
he's dependent on you. Okay.
Yeah, he's very dependent. That's okay. It's my little baby.
Is he frisky enough to make you some babies, hopefully, or is he too lazy?
Well, that's what I was hoping for, but no.
No, he's just not going to take the energy to do it.
Yeah, and the thing is that even those nails.
The trees. He's cool though.
That's gonna hurt. Come on. Almost got me right on the eye.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was close.
Man. Those nails hurt so bad.
Sweetie, I swear to God, it was the lizard. It wasn't.
Yeah, as soon as I go upstairs, I will have a whole bunch of red marks. So she knows already.
She knows.
All right, awesome. I'm gonna put this guy.
Yeah, put him back now. Oh man, just a gorgeous animal. Seems somewhat easy to interact with, but it clearly has some nails there that you got to watch out for.
Oh man, they are they are arboreal. So their whole thing. So how we were talking about the defense of chameleon geckos.
Yeah.
These guys actually do the exact same thing. That's
really.
They do the same thing. They will be in a branch, about the same size or even bigger. Yeah. And as soon as you move one way, they will go the other way.
Yep. So they just kind of circle around it.
Those nails have to be really sharp and really strong.
Yep. No, that's so cool. Now, okay, if anybody is watching this and they're like, you know what, this looks awesome. I think I need to get one. You said they're one of the most rare rare lizards in the U.S. right now, and we're not getting any wild caught ones coming in with Australia, obviously. What's something like this going to set you back if you're lucky enough to find one?
Well, it depends on who you get it from.
Sure.
But the last time that I saw some for sale, it was actually a pair. And that pair was, I think it was $3,500.
Okay. That's not cheap, but that's not the worst.
It's not it's not $10,000. But the thing is that it's not only like I said, it's one of the rarest, not one of the most expensive.
Most expensive.
So
yes.
the problem is actually finding who has them. That is the problem.
Yep. How many breeders do you know? You don't have to list them off, but how many breeders do you know that you like? If you're looking for, when you were looking for that male, and do you own the male, or did you say in your video that you're, just okay?
Yeah,
so you're just taking care of them, trying to see if you guys can breed them.
Exactly. Yeah, because not only as you said, we're not getting any wild animals, so we obviously also don't want to inbreed them. So to find some that it's from a different bloodline, that was the most difficult part for me. It took me 3 years in a waiting list to get this female, and then it took me another 3 years to actually find a male that was available that wasn't from the same bloodline.
Okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they're not gonna breed.
Oh no! Yeah. Maybe they just have a really long dating phase, and he'll get energy a little later.
Hopefully, I already had him for close to a year now, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, he's been the same since I got him, since day one. I actually had to redo my setup completely from scratch. So that it would be more suitable for him.
Got it. Yeah, because he's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
What about even just, Now, some species I know you have to cool them in order to get them to breed, or you need to, do certain cycles for them, separate them, bring them back together. Is there anything specific with these guys that we know of right now?
This guy says as long as they go through that small period of a little bit of cool down,
Brumation?
which
Yeah.
which is the normal yearly change. That's really all you need. They
Okay.
don't they don't brumate. So that's pretty much as long as I keep them a little bit cooler through a few months during the winter, they should be good to breed.
Okay. Cool. No, that it's. I wish you luck. I hope your luck turns around because they're a gorgeous animal. I think a lot of people would be interested in keeping them. Just so cool, that crest on the back of the head.
Yeah.
You got the big dewlap and everything. So I think the hobby is looking for the next big thing. And not saying that's it, but that could be a contender. Very cool. Well, I think I skipped over some stuff, and we're going a little long, which is totally fine because we can talk as long as we want. Yeah, I love the female versus male. They don't get as colorful, but they're still awesome. You got a day gecko there, and then is that a viper gecko?
Viper gecko from Wally.
Ah, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
those
So
are
that's
very cool. What
yeah,
do you
that's
think of those
it's a really
as
cool little
pets?
species. Yeah, it's also kind of similar to chameleon geckos, but they are a little bit more shy.
Okay,
But I love that pattern. That
yeah, their
pattern
pattern's
is what
gorgeous.
that's what drove to me getting them. Well, him at the moment, but
Yeah.
I am hoping to get a female.
So with these guys, I know they're a little more shy. Are they handleable? Are they flighty? Like,
They're they are shy, but
yeah.
once you have them, if you pick one up, it's not gonna jump. It's not gonna try to bite. It will
Okay.
simply stay right there on your hand.
Perfect. Yeah, you can't ask for more for the little gecko. That's
Exactly.
great. So, um, awesome. And then you got this gecko here. This is a knobtail, correct?
Yeah. So that is my rough knobtail gecko. That is grumpy. I
Grumpy, I like it.
I love that guy, man. I should have sent you a picture of his face, but the way that his eyes look, it makes him look like he's always angry.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, they're very cool geckos. I think these guys are probably more underrated because they get a little bit bigger than the smooth knobtails, correct?
No, these guys
No?
are actually smaller.
Oh, they're small. See, I
Yeah,
don't know
well, this
everything.
this specific species is a little bit smaller. Yeah, the
Oh,
smooth
very cool.
knobtail geckos do get bigger, and then
Okay.
you have the other ones. They're called amii, and those are the biggest ones.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think those are the ones that you're thinking about. Yeah, those
Very
are those
cool.
are the bulldogs.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and you've got, videos on all of these guys.
Yeah.
I question about their care. So they're a dry species. Um, how hot do you keep them?
So that basking spot is at 95%, 90, yeah, 95,
5 degrees.
95 Fahrenheit, not
Okay.
percent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not crazy hot. You are obviously also, it's a gecko, so you
Yeah.
cannot have it too hot. But yeah, I'm going more for the for like 90, between 90 and 95%. I keep saying percent.
So, it's funny you say that. Did you ever see that comedy sketch? I forget. It was I think it was a British guy, but I'll try to look up the name of it. But he's like, you know what? I love Fahrenheit. We have Celsius, and everybody says Celsius is better, but I love Fahrenheit. You know why? Because when it's, you know, 95 degrees out, it's 95% hot. When it's 100 degrees out, it's 100% hot. When it's 70 degrees out, it's 70% hot. Because it's exactly what it sounds like. And I'm like, yeah, that sort of makes sense. So you're right. It's 95% hot. So it was a great sketch. I loved it. So, very cool. And then so one other picture you sent me, and I kind of want to use this to kind of bring it home. I You sent me one of the coolest photos of this eagle. Now, Here, let me pull it up real quick. Now this is not a lizard, but technically, it's a raptor.
Flying
You've
raptor.
changed a little bit there. I don't know what outfit you're wearing here.
It was
Yeah.
cold in there.
Yeah. But what's the story? Why did you send me this photo? This is a cool photo, but what is this animal and what's your fun story?
Oh man, so this is a personal story, from my childhood. So,
Awesome.
as I said, I was born and raised in Mexico, so I definitely had a very different life to many other kids from here, from the U.S. And to go into this story. So when I was actually a kid, there was an eagle trying to get a rabbit,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually got hit by a truck. So
Oh,
there was a whole commotion, and a lot of people went into see what was happening. They actually thought that somebody, a person got hit by a truck, and then they saw this gigantic eagle right there, and it wasn't able to fly. So the truck actually broke one of the wings, and some people were deciding what to do with it, just put it out of the misery, or
yep.
eat it. So then my father was like, I'll give you 200 pesos, which 200 pesos here, it's like $12.
Sure.
And, he actually bought it from the guy that hit it with the truck.
He charged him for it.
So he bought it, and then he took it, and it was all wrapped with a lasso. I think it's the same name, right?
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
a rope.
Like a rope. Yeah.
Like a rope, and it was all wrapped. So he said, we're gonna take it home. I actually thought he meant like we're gonna eat it.
Oh, yeah,
That-
man.
but he was he was actually trying to find a way to actually keep it.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any chains. Obviously none of us had any idea on what we were doing. I was, man, I want to say I was 9 years old. I was
Okay.
9 or 10 years old when this happened.
That's
So,
even cooler at that age.
in the houses in Mexico, the upstairs, or all the ceiling is actually
Mhm.
flat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's not a
it's
steeple
like
roof. Yeah, you guys don't have the snow down there like we do.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all flat. So we actually use it, like if it were just a regular floor.
Yeah.
So my dad just decided to wrap this thing from this gigantic eagle
Yeah.
from one of the hands. I mean, it's not hands. What do you call them? Talons.
Oh, the talents. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which they have
so
huge talents.
Yeah, so from one of the talons, and then it was just a rope. It wasn't a chain. And then everyone was scared of it, including my mom. And while my father was trying to talk to somebody to make actually a gigantic cage, we were feeding it. And I was the one that would always go, because I love the wild animals.
Yeah.
And every single time that I would get close to it, I mean, I would seriously, walk a little bit close, and he would open the wings, full span. Man, that
Well,
was
those are big. That's a golden eagle, right?
that was something that I will never forget. And this, I mean, I was a little kid, so this thing was, a little bit more than half of my size. So it was, we kept it for like 3 days. It eventually actually poked enough on the rope that it got loose,
Okay.
and then it got hit by a truck.
Oh no.
I don't know if it was a truck or a car, but it was
Yeah.
another vehicle, and
Yeah.
this time it killed it.
It finished the job. Yeah, that's sad. But just trying to rehabilitate it, that you came from a family where your dad's not like, okay, let's just boil the thing, I'm guessing your dad's not a zoologist.
No.
No, fair enough. And so, but just that love of animals,
Yeah.
to say, hey, let's give this thing a fighting shot, and doing what you could with the resources you had. Clearly, that got passed on to you and expanded, and led you to this conversation one day. But it's not many people can say that they've had a eagle that they got to try to rehabilitate on their roof growing up. So that is fantastic. Really cool story. I like that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
No
Um, yeah. Have you ever thought about getting into falconry or something like that? Did-
To be honest, no, not here.
No,
I
it's
would like
involved.
to try to go to places where you can you can hold them. Maybe you
Hmm.
can just interact with them because I
Yeah.
definitely do like that. Last time that I actually went to Mexico, I went to one of the zoos and they had a bird of prey called
Hmm.
caracara, which actually looks a lot like a hawk, but
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, man. Also, I was able to interact with it, take a couple of pictures with it. I can actually send it to you.
Sweet.
Uh, so yeah, every single chance that I get to hold one, I always take it.
That's awesome. Yeah, they're just such majestic animals, and
Yeah.
they can do some damage. You saw those
Hell yeah.
talents. You don't want to just willy nilly go greet a do a handshake. You'll get holes in your hands. But you know, I think people who love animals, we want experiences. Especially ways that are good for the animal too. There's actually a quick story from mine. My wife, when I met her, her favorite animal is tigers. By far,
Nice.
her white tigers are her favorite, but she'll take any tiger, kind of thing. And she always thought that they were soft, right? Because why not? They look big and fluffy. And so one day we get a call. Her cousin actually is good friends with a guy who has it's like a mini zoo in the south suburbs of Chicago, specializing in breeding wolves for release, back into the wild. He also trains bears for movies and entertainment, but also,
That's cool.
he takes them in. He's not like seeking them out kind of thing. He just, when they need a home, he has a facility and the time to do this. So it's a really cool setup that he has, and he does demonstrations for the public. And we got a call saying he's got a baby tiger, right? Dream
Nice.
come true. And he's been waiting, it's this breeding exchange program, and he gets this baby tiger that needs a home. And he's learned everything he can about it. And we go over there, and we're thinking it's going to be a cub, like, little tiny thing, right?
Oh, it was
This
already
thing's
big.
this thing could have killed us.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, about a week or two, and I'm not going to be able to show anybody this, and but it was still, we had just gotten our very first cat. And so I'm comparing the kitten's behavior, the one I have at home, my cat Finnegan, to this giant kitten tiger that was probably, I mean, I say it wasn't even half grown. It was, it was only a few months old, but still, it was about the size of a medium to slightly, on the small size, large dog. And it was playing with their Great Pyrenees. Now, the Great Pyrenees was bigger, but they were, it had grown up with this dog, and just watching it play with a giant TV box and, post, and we get to pet it, and it was really fun. It didn't hurt us at all. It was like a big kitten. And I saw the claws, like just the way, like, man, that thing could destroy us. But my wife at the end, she's like, "That fur was rough." I'm like, yes, it was. I go, that's what fur feels like if it needs to, wick away water and and survive in the wild. That's not a domestic dog that's super fluffy. It's not a poodle. So, expectations versus reality. So, tigers are not soft. So, if anybody didn't know that, but very cool. Well, what's next for you? Are there any other species that you're looking to acquire? Are we looking to, obviously, you've got a few little breeding projects, but nothing, mass scale.
Oh man.
What are
Yeah.
you the most excited about doing next? What do I get to watch on your channel?
Oh man. I mean, I seem to be going more forward with the geckos than anything else. Just a quick story
Yeah,
with
please.
my color lizards. As it was mentioned, I did bred them once,
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, I was not prepared for the work it had to take to raise this little raptors.
Oh yeah,
So to be
a
honest,
lot of food.
I didn't really do good with them. Definitely my fault. So I want to take some time to actually feel like I am very prepared for them. So
Yep.
this is why I am moving more with the geckos. With the geckos it's a lot easier. They're not jumping around, running like crazy, trying to beat each other.
Yep.
So it is definitely a little bit easier. And also I do want to focus on uncommon and rare reptiles. I will always have my leopard geckos,
hmm
even though they are even though it's a cool morph and everything, but it's still a leopard gecko.
Yeah.
I do want to breed scorpion tail geckos.
Oh yeah,
I
those would be fun.
Yeah, I already have one.
Oh, you do?
I just got them this weekend. It's tiny, but it's
Oh,
it's
great.
it's, it's super cool. Yeah, man.
I
Um,
watched Frank Fast's videos on that, or not
yeah,
Frank, Frank Payne.
yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to look into what he has because I have to wait until this guy is at least a year old so that I'm able
Yeah.
to know what he is. But most of scorpion tail geckos they are actually females, so
Interesting. Okay.
it's a little more hard to find the males, and obviously you have to wait until you're able to see
Yeah,
the hen
sex them.
teams. So yeah. So yeah, I want to breed those. I want to breed frog-eyed geckos. Um, oh man, I definitely want to keep breeding my riverine leaf-tailed geckos. I actually have 6 eggs
Yeah.
from them this year. But man, they will take from 90 days to 140 days in the incubator.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's even my gargoyles. That's about unless you incubate them at higher temps, which there's pros and cons to that as
yeah,
well.
which is not good.
Yeah. I mean, they take anywhere. Mine take about 70 days because I do incubate them at like right now I've got them incubated at 77, 78. It fluctuates. But yeah, the first year I incubated them at room temperature, 74, and 120 days was not uncommon. So
Yeah,
yeah, crazy stuff. Have you ever thought about a gargoyle? I hear they're pretty rare.
I have.
Yeah.
Before winning the crested gecko,
Yeah.
I actually built a setup that was specifically for a gargoyle gecko. Now I have to be honest. The only reason as to why is because chahuas were too expensive for me.
Yes, I hear you.
But this was already a couple of years ago, and they are going down in price.
Yep.
Um, so I think that instead of a gargoyle, I think I'm gonna go for a chahua, maybe even a pair.
No, and there's nothing wrong with that. I always said the next gecko I get is probably going to be a chewy.
Yeah,
Um, and but what's fun with me, what keeps me interested in the Gargs, in this stage, and I've only been doing this for a little bit, is just that there are so many fancy morphs out there right now. And let me do this and actually show you something that I'm picking up.
and I
So this
mean
is an
this.
exclusive. I'm not even going to get it till next week, right? Um, but it's stuff like this. Let me pull it up real quick. This is a blotch. So I always said when I first saw a super like covered red blotch, that was my dream gecko, and I'm getting it next week. Okay.
Nice.
Um, Look at this. So this is still a baby. Look at that
Wow,
coverage.
nice.
Isn't that nice? So Dragonborn Exotics hooked me up. Amazing guy. That's my kid's band-aid. Um, but I am so pumped for this boy. And it is a male. So yeah, expect a video on that one. Very
I like
cool.
how it kind of looks like blood splatter.
Yes, yes. I actually know a super blotch named Blood Splatter.
Really?
So
Yeah,
yeah, Jake
that's what it
from
looks.
Red Rack named his female that.
That's what it looks like to me.
It
Really
does,
cool, man.
doesn't it?
Really
Yeah.
cool. Congrats.
Thank you very much. So, but definitely not a cheap animal, but I'm trying to keep high end stuff. So,
Yeah,
very cool. But yeah, well, if you ever are interested in stuff like that, you know where to find it, right?
I do.
There you go. Maybe we'll
Thank you.
do a trade for some of those scorpion tails that you start producing later on.
Oh man.
Um,
Hopefully in no later than 2 years, I will already be breeding them.
that would be awesome. Yeah, and they breed quite readily once you get them going, don't they?
Yeah, it's my understanding that the female will actually lay out one egg per about per month.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you will
that's
get quite a lot of eggs.
that's awesome though. That's
Yeah,
great.
I believe it's one egg. It's either one egg or one clutch per month.
I'm pretty sure you're right with one egg, but again,
Yeah,
I
I think
think
so.
definitely go watch the video. There's a few videos on YouTube that go over that. So,
Yeah, oh yeah.
um, very cool. Well, you'll have to do your own when you get to it and let us all know. So Juan, thank you so much for coming on this episode and sharing your collection, telling me about all your animals. I'll keep watching your channel because I think you're doing a great job. I think you're a very
Thank you.
genuine, well-informed individual that just cares about his animals and is always trying to better his hobby, his husbandry, his enclosures, and I appreciate people that are bringing that positivity and putting it out there for people to see. Nobody's perfect, and you've shared sometimes where you're like, yeah, I have to change this up. I love that genuineness. So keep it up. I'm going to keep saying hi to you when I see you at the shows. Hopefully I don't annoy you, but
Nah, you
it's always
won't.
great seeing you. Where can people find you if you want to put in a few plugs of if someone wants to reach out to you, ask you questions, or follow you on socials? Where can people find you?
All right. Well, I do want to say first of all, well, thank you for the invitation. This was definitely fun. It's always fun to
Awesome.
talk about reptiles for us. Yeah, but
You're one
pretty
of
much
us.
everywhere. Pretty much everywhere on I have the YouTube channel. I just started a Facebook page,
Nice.
so I would like for that one to grow a little bit. I do have an Instagram, but to be honest, I stopped using it. Seems like Instagram is dying, so I kind of stopped using that. And
Okay.
I also do have a TikTok. For those that enjoy TikTok, because they're right now it's the big thing.
The youth.
I did make one, and it's all called the same, JP's Lizards,
Very cool. Yeah, go follow JP's Lizards everywhere you can.
everywhere.
And do me a favor because we've talked about it. Next time you post a video, see who gets to be the first to comment. All right, and then mention this. All right. So, thank you so much again for coming on, and I'll see you at the next show.
For sure. Yes, you
All
will.
right. Have a good one.
All right. So, guys, thank you.
Hey, if you've enjoyed this video and want to encourage me to make more Gargoyle Gecko content, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, share this with a friend, and maybe check out one of the videos right over there. I'll see you next time on Gecko Cove.